Good morning. Good morning. All right. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. My name is Melissa Winn. My pronouns are she and her, and I will be your service leader this morning. We gather today on the unceded lands of the Muskogee Nation of Florida. We are grateful for the land and for those who tended it before us. We are a people of many different paths and beliefs who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. While diverse in age, ethnicity, and gender, we share the same values centered around love and acceptance of all. Our goal is to open minds, inspire spiritual growth, and ignite a passion for social justice. All are welcome to join us in building this loving community. If you are visiting today, please fill out a card by the front door so we can connect with you. In your order of service, you will find a description of our upcoming services, and we're very excited because our next two upcoming services, we will have our new Reverend here giving. And on that note, we have an announcement that on Saturday, August 9th at 11 a.m., we will have a welcoming luncheon for Reverend Kathy. So bring a dish. Is there a sign-up sheet? Okay, yes, there's a sign-up sheet in the back for bringing a dish. And if you want to write a card, a welcome card for her, I think Deborah has an announcement about that and a few other announcements as well, or maybe one other.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. We are going to celebrate twice our new minister. We're going to celebrate on Saturday with a luncheon from 11 to 1. And everyone, we want you to bring something that you'd bring for picnic food. So the sign-up sheet in the back, you can bring whatever you want, but we kind of have a summer theme going because we want to introduce this Virginian person to Northwest Florida, okay? And the other thing is, so Saturday, after we have our luncheon, then we will have, on Sunday, we will have second hour, the entire second hour, which is the hour after the service, where we normally go to classes, but we're going to, this time we're going to celebrate her again, and we're going to have coffee, cake, and conversation with our new minister. So we'll have everybody bring something, bring a snack or whatever. We'll have second hour, and the whole time will be devoted to her, talking to her. All right? And then the final thing is these welcome cards. I have a basket up here, and I have some pens. Excuse me. And we want you to welcome her. Say, we're excited that you're here, and we're happy that you're here. And if you have something that you want to talk to her about, please put that in there and then put your name and your contact information so that she can contact you and talk to you about that, because she's very committed to that. All right? Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday.
All right, and Denny also has an announcement.
I have three things. Last week I introduced my daughter, who's 17, which means I would be about 65 to have had her. She's my granddaughter. Just thought and that's Sasha. I forgot to say she is my granddaughter, and I forgot to say her name. For the minister's luncheon Saturday, we are setting up Friday at 1 p.m. here. We already have some volunteers, but if you want to get on over here and help us set all the chairs and tables and all that up, come on over at 1 p.m. I wanted it at 4 p.m. so we could do happy hour afterwards, but I got voted out. No one. So, with that said, we'll just do happy hour early. Now, the true announcement after all that babbling is Center for Lifelong Learning is a community announcement. Center for Lifelong Learning are programs, almost all of them during the day from about 8 till about 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we have a lot of classes that are set up. August 13th at 9 a.m., we open up registration on that online. There's a flyer here with the online info, and if you have troubles, it has a phone number you can call in. We'll have people at the CLL office. We have classes at the University of West Florida campus on Martin Luther King, and then throughout town. And we have all kinds of single experiences and tours all over. Cooking classes and tours of the Science Center and all kinds of things around. I have a lot of flyers. I'll put them in the back. Please pick them up and register. Karen is teaching a games class Tuesdays, lots of fun, and I'm teaching a travel class. Well, I spend most of the time just talking about all my travel. Oh well.
I'm sure it's very engaging, Denny. All right. All right, so after the service, please stay for coffee, snacks, and conversation, followed by what we call second hour, where you have the choice of 2 small discussion groups today. We will not be having Pagan Pathways this morning, but Speaker Circle will be up at the front with our speakers today, and then we will have TED Talks with Josh Ashley in the library. And now, the prelude prepares us for the service. Our chalice this morning is going to be lit by Daniel. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, the sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. You need assistance there?
It's not lighting. Technical difficulties.
We got it. Sometimes you just need help. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Please stand in body or in spirit to join in singing our hymn, number 1051 in the teal hymnal. I really love this hymn, but please note that there are some repeats on the screen. If you see repeats in lyrics, just ignore them because we're going to just sing it through once. The children are invited to come up to the front for the time of all ages, and we have a special guest reader today, Julian.
So we got a good story today. It's called The Smallest Horse. The story is by Lori List, and the illustrations are by Amanda Holbo. I think that's how you say the name. At first glance, you might think Trixie's a pony. She is very small, after all. She is, for example, much, much smaller than the big horse Huey with his very long legs. She could probably walk right under his belly, and he wouldn't even notice. She's even smaller than Indy and Valentine, and they are actually our ponies. But Trixie is not a pony. She is a very, very small horse, a miniature horse. Trixie never said it out loud, but sometimes she wished she weren't so small. The other horses all have very important jobs that only big horses can do. Huey is often out rounding up missing cattle on the ranch. When Trixie tried to help, she got lost in the tall grass, and Huey had to round her up. Indy is both sure-footed and brave, and the other horses trust her to keep them safe on trail rides. Trixie tried to show the other horses she was brave too, but the creek was too deep to cross. Ogie is always bringing home brightly colored ribbons from horse shows. Trixie studied his fancy moves, but they didn't look the same when she tried them. Kestrel is the fastest horse on the ranch, and Trixie thought if she were faster, perhaps she could have an important job. Trixie practiced being fast every day, but she could never keep up with Kestrel. Even little Valentine has a very important job teaching the youngest children how to ride. Trixie tried to look big and strong, but nobody put a saddle on her. The big horses tried to cheer Trixie up by reminding her of all the things she liked about being such a small horse. Indy said, "But you are the perfect size for the little children who want to braid flowers and ribbons into a horse's mane and tail." Trixie had to admit that she liked this very much. Kestrel said, "Whenever you want to take a nap, it's a snap for you to find a warm spot and curl up in the sun. I can barely fold up my long legs, and then I land on the ground with a big thump whenever I want to lie down." And Huey reminded Trixie that she always won whenever the horses played hide and seek. He said, "There are lots of great hiding places for a small, clever horse, but not very many for a big horse." Trixie knew the horses meant well, but playing games and taking naps just weren't the same as having an important job. No, she did not think that being small was very nice at all. One afternoon, Trixie was munching on her favorite blackberry bush when a young girl and her mom arrived at the ranch. The girl's mom explained to Chrissy, the ranch manager, that her daughter had been sad ever since her best friend moved away. She said, "Sarah loves horses, and I'm hoping they might cheer her up." Chrissy said, "I'm sure we can help with that." She took Sarah's hand and led her over to the big horses. The big horses all trotted up to the fence to check out the new people. Trixie shook her head to get her thick mane out of her eyes so she could see the little girl. The little girl looked up at Huey's long nose, then down at his very large hooves. She took several steps back. Huey reached out with his nose. He just wanted to say hello, but the little girl shrank back and turned away. "They're so big," she whispered. Chrissy smiled and said, "I know just who you need to meet." Trixie watched as the two of them walked toward her, unlatched the gate, and stepped into her pasture. Chrissy said, "This is Trixie. She is so kind and considerate that she always helps me feel better when I'm sad. Let's see if she can help you too." As Chrissy and the little girl walked softly toward her, Trixie did her best to look very, very small. Trixie stretched out her neck until the whiskers on her muzzle just barely touched the girl. She nickered a soft hello. The big horses watched as the little girl with the sad eyes slowly smiled at the small horse that was exactly her size. Trixie's ears flickered forward, and she gave her tail a shake as she realized that actually she does have a very important job to do on the ranch. Being the smallest horse helps her do it even better.
Love that book. Thank you, Julian. All right, so now's the time for sharing of joys and concerns. You are invited to briefly share personal events in your life by dropping a pebble into the bowl of water silently or while speaking a few words into the microphone right here. This way we may support each other in sorrows and celebrate together in joy. Please only speak about others with their permission. This is a sacred time for us. we leave a space in our service for a time of silent meditation and prayer, but today I will be guiding you through a mindful breath meditation. So take a moment to settle in for a brief guided meditation of mindful breathing. Take a comfortable seat, upright. Eyes can be open or a soft gaze low towards the earth. Seal your lips and breathe in and out through your nose. Choose a gentle, easy, and steady breath. Take your time with each breath in and spend at least as much time with each breath out. Find a breath that reflects all the qualities of calm, patience, spaciousness, and ease that we'd like to see in the mind. The intention is simply the noticing of breath. So we commit right here, right now, to holding the mind's attention on breath. And we hold not with a tightness or a grasping, but with spaciousness. As if 25% of awareness is on breath, 25% of awareness on whether or not we're still watching the breath, and the remaining 50% of our efforts relaxed, open. We stay with this gentle, easy breath, noticing the breath in whatever way it chooses to speak to us. The sound of our breath moving in and out through the nose. Perhaps there's a temperature to the breath. A cool breath in, a warm breath out. Noticing smell or a taste to the breath. Noticing the felt sensation of breath. How the breath feels as it moves in and out through the nose. As you take 3 more long, steady breaths, you may want to turn your attention toward your own spiritual practice, taking a moment of intention, silent prayer, self-compassion, or sending loving energy. After our song of dedication, greeters will take up the offering. Generosity is a spiritual practice. Our fellowship is supported by our pledges and donations. If you are paying your pledge with a check today, please make a note in the memo line. We have a tradition in our fellowship called Share the Plate, where we split equally all cash donations and unmarked checks with a local charity. For the month of August, our Share the Plate partner is the Okaloosa County branch of the NAACP. Our support will help local voting rights and other civil rights initiatives. Please be generous. Today's speakers are very near and dear to my heart, and I'm actually kind of one of them, but. So we have the directors of Healing Hoof Steps, Narissa Jenkins, the CEO, Susan Hammond, the adaptive writing director, and myself, I'm the clinical director. Healing Hoof Steps is a local nonprofit dedicated to health and well-being through therapeutic engagement with horses. And I will let Narissa and Susan come up and tell you a lot more.
Well, thank you. Excuse me. Thank you all for having us today and letting us share a little bit about what Melissa does and what we do up in Crestview. So like Melissa said, we do equine-assisted mental health counseling, where Melissa is our clinical director. And then we also do adaptive riding, where Susan is our program director there. So we're the only program for 500 miles that offers these two modalities of working with horses to improve the lives of humans. And when people ask, well, why did we start this? Why was this important to our community? Well, the mental health of our community matters. As of 2024, Florida was ranked 46 out of 50 states for access to mental health care, right? That's not good. In Okaloosa County, the number of people walking around with a major depressive disorder is about 20%, which is higher than the state average. So a lot of these statistics are higher than our state averages. Domestic violence is higher here, as well as people being hospitalized and suicide. So it was really important to come up with some alternative ways that we can kind of help change some of these statistics for our community. So how does Healing Hoof Steps improve the mental health of our community? My clicker might be too far away. Does it like this? It did.
It worked a minute ago.
I know. Yes. I'm gonna stand over here because I feel like I can't. So our mission is actually to create lasting positive change in the lives of individuals along the Emerald Coast through therapeutic engagement with horses. And the way that we do that is with these two programs that these two incredible ladies get the opportunity to lead each week. When we talk about our mental health counseling services, so we do offer counseling in an office, but in the event that that's not what works for somebody, we have the ability to have licensed mental health counselors like Melissa provide opportunities to engage with the animals at the same time. So there's no riding that goes on in our mental health program. We do see a lot of veterans, at-risk youth, women's services, family services, and everything is just like a counselor's office, except you have the opportunity to be out in the environment and out and engaging with the animals. When we talk about adaptive riding, with Susan's program, we're working a lot more with kids that may be on the autism spectrum and people with more physical and developmental type disabilities. So it's a much more structured program. They're doing activities from the saddle. They might be learning how to count, how to tell their colors. Even we've had several stories where we had nonverbal riders become verbal. These horses are able to bring down that heart rate, bring down that anxiety and things within these individuals such that, you know, we have a great story about a couple of twins that we have in our therapeutic adaptive riding program that didn't say a word 3 years ago. They were 5. Today they count, they know colors, they learn the word trot. She did not tell me that she taught them the word trot. I was leading a horse when he said that. But there are these amazing things that come out of interacting with these animals in both of these two programs that these ladies lead. So our facility up in Crestview, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the east side of Crestview. We're over actually by the zoo. We have a 10.5-acre facility, and when my family and I got this property in 2015, it was all trees. It was just a bunch of land that was easy to get to off of Highway 90. And so we started with our one barn years ago, and as the program started to grow, our waiting list started to grow, we added our therapeutic riding program in 2020. And as both of these programs grew, so did our waiting list. So in 2023 into 2024, we were actually funded by the state and the county to put in these individual mental health counseling offices, private horse pastures, as well as that covered arena. Because it's really hard to do work with horses indoors. It's just, it gets messy.
We've had experience with that.
Can attest. Yes. probably see, I mean, obviously where we live, we have a very large military population here. So for me, I was passionate about getting into this. I'm the daughter of a combat search and rescue vet from Vietnam. And in the 80s, we didn't talk about post-traumatic stress. He just is how he is. We didn't go to bow legs. We didn't do theme parks, football games. Just wasn't. And I had a love for horses. Didn't know how it was going to turn out in life. But later on, discovering how much horses were able to help people in different situations, especially working with veterans in the military, it was kind of, it was like the perfect storm, if you will, of passion and being able to help other families not go through similar things like that. So Healing Hoof Steps, we actually provide mental health services through a lot of different avenues. Because we are working as a traditional mental health practice, we are in network with major medical insurance, which is great for covering some of the costs, but I don't know if you guys know this, but they all eat like a horse. So we are a nonprofit. We are a 501c3, and we do a lot of fundraising and activities and events to help us offset some of those costs of being able to have these animals and care for them in a way that they're able to help and support the people that come to see them. With therapeutic riding or adaptive riding isn't considered clinical, it's considered holistic in nature. So Susan is not a licensed counselor, but she is a certified therapeutic riding instructor. So she's been trained to work with special populations and contraindications and how to adapt to serve those populations, right? So some of the ways that we fund our therapeutic riding is through Step Up for Students. We have some scholarships through the Air Warrior Courage Foundation, and then Sunshine Health. This was actually how our programs grew. We started actually seeing clients at the end of 2017 into 2018. And if you look at that, that speaks to the need that's within our community. So these two ladies, they work really, really hard to try and keep growing that number and touching as many people as we can with these unique services. And when we do that, we also love getting involved with other organizations. We do a lot of collaboration with the VA, with Aliqua, Shelter House, and any chance we get, because there's so much more that we can do collectively when we reach out and engage with other organizations in the community.
My name is Amy Williams. I would describe my time at Healing Hoof Steps as a ongoing journey. With every session, you learn more and more about yourself, and you get to work through some of the things that you have been through. And so I say it's a journey, it's an adventure. It's been entertaining at times, it's been fun. I've had some very deep moments, but overall the experience has been amazing.
Sharing her experience. So people sometimes ask, well, how do I get involved if I wanted to get involved with your organization? Well, the number one thing that we're always looking for are volunteers. You don't need to know about anything about horses. We don't expect you to be a rodeo pro. So a lot of times, a lot of the students that Susan may have in her adaptive riding program, they're going to need support in the saddle. Like the twins we were talking about. So we might have people walking next to them. Don't worry, we're not going to make you jog unless Susan teaches somebody else to trot. That'll be on her. And I'm going to let Susan just say a couple words about her program and about her volunteering needs too.
Thank you guys for having us here. And if you can't hear me, please let me know, because I'm having issues hearing out of this ears. Sure. Yeah, I usually don't have that problem, but I can't hear myself, so I don't know how well I'm talking. So I'm also the volunteer coordinator for our adaptive riding program, and it takes a lot of heart and soul and time to run that program because, like Narissa said, the riders need support. Some of them have balance issues, hearing issues. Some of them don't speak with words. They communicate differently than, say, you and I do. So it just takes a lot. It takes a good team, and we work together as a team. We're very thankful when anybody gives any amount of time, whether it's to the students or to help with the horses. or help with the staff and some of the things that go on around the barn, because like Narissa said, the horses eat a lot. So there's a lot of different things that go into caring for our other staff members that have 4 legs instead of 2. So we always are looking for volunteers nonstop. We can't have enough, and so there's never like a cutoff. The volunteers learn as you go. If you don't know anything about horses, you'll learn. And it's a very enriching environment. It's a very welcoming environment, and a lot of the things that we get back from our volunteers, a lot of the feedback is, they feel welcome, they feel like a part of a team, and then sometimes they only want to come once a week, and then they end up coming 3 times a week because they really enjoy their time, because it's also something that they get something out of as well. So that's kind of the volunteer side. And then just to give you a little snippet of some of the students or participants that we serve, we do children and adults, mostly developmental concerns. And so if you're not comfortable with that population, but want to learn more about it, it's also a good opportunity, because then you get to kind of see what this experience does for them. And like Narissa mentioned, it's amazing. You get to watch just those small wins every week if you get involved. What looks to be something so minuscule ends up being something really big for this student as they get more comfortable and connect with their horse and or the volunteer team. So it's a very enriching experience for you if you just want to find something that kind of makes you feel good, and then you learn as you go. So did I leave anything out? I think that's it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Susan. Well, yeah, so another way you can get involved, I think there's a flyer in the back. We have our Calvary of Giving. Some people might not want to be out in the heat and the sweat and the play and the horse droppings. That's fine. Our Calvary of Giving, it starts at $10 a month, and you can do automatic reoccurring. It's cheaper than Netflix. And it helps buy horse feed and care for getting their hooves trimmed every 6 weeks, and their veterinary bills. We have lots of different fundraising events throughout the year. Our next fundraising event that's coming up is our golf tournament in September, and then we have another one in October at on-site that's our equestrian challenge. You can sponsor one of our horses.
You mentioned the horses dressing up. The equestrian challenge.
Oh.
They wear costumes. Horse costumes.
So it's my favorite event
so
of the
fun.
year. It's called the Equestrian Challenge. So we actually invite the general public that have their own horses onto our property to compete in an obstacle course challenge. There's a seesaw, there's a tire pedestal, there's a mattress walk, there's a bubble noodle tinsel wall, a water obstacle, and some other really fun stuff. So they all are getting points, and whoever gets the most points wins the actual challenge. However, there is also a $500 costume contest for the horse and rider. Not just one. Gotta be a team effort. Last year's winner was Bob Ross. No joke. This horse showed up and it had this mural all the way down it, and we're like, what is that? I don't get it. Because the rider was going to compete first and then go get dressed. And so she did the competition, they went out to get dressed, and comes back with this curly wig and these glasses and this real tight butterfly collar, and we're like, oh, it's Bob Ross. Happy little trees. Happy little trees. So each year we also do a pickleball tournament. It's usually up in April. We do it at Twin Hills Park. It's a really fun time. If you like pickleball and want to get involved with that, our Par for Patriots, that'll be September 20th at the Fort Walton Beach Golf Club. If you golf, great. If you don't golf, that's okay too. We actually have an event like a paint and sip, Ponies Patriots paint and sip event while the guys are out playing golf. We'll sit on the veranda and you can paint one of the 2 paintings, and that also helps us as a fundraiser. And then our equestrian challenge that we were just talking about is October. It's always the Saturday before Halloween. It's easiest to get costume stuff, right? So it is really fun. So, and you guys are welcome to come out and be spectators at either of those things. That's an option too. And all of this you can find on our website at healinghoofsteps.org as well. This just talks a little bit more about the Calvary of Giving and some of the things that go into that. Like I mentioned, it helps provide the necessary elements to maintain the highest levels of care for all of our. So we have 16 horses, 2 miniature donkeys, and a sulcata tortoise. And had that been a little boy horse he was reading about, that was Tucker. Mm-hmm. I know that horse. One of the other things that we're constantly trying to fundraise for is to complete some of those expansion projects that we started with the state and the county, because when you get funding from the government, it takes a long time to get. And sometimes that affects your cost of labor and materials and things like that. So we're still trying to complete a few things that are on the property, like our new admin office, and several other smaller things, an extra barn for Susan. You can sponsor a horse. Some people like to sponsor a horse. For a year, it covers all of their feed, their hay, their farrier visits, their veterinary visits. That's one way you can get involved. Or you can sponsor someone to come as a rider in Susan's program or as a client in Melissa's program. From time to time, we have people that may not have insurance to cover going to counseling, or a family that would love to do therapeutic riding for their child, or adaptive riding, but isn't able to pay for it out of pocket. You can sponsor a rider or sponsor a client.
I didn't know how to crawl out of the hole that I was in. My depression, my anxiety, my panic attacks. And I didn't understand how to do that. Being in horse therapy has allowed me to understand how to do that, how to have coping skills, and how to be happy again. Because I honestly didn't think I was going to be happy again. I've come a long way, and I'm happy about it, you know.
Little donkey in there does not know he's a donkey that was running in that. Doesn't know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to let us share our programs with you. And here's just a few of our herd that we work with. And did I miss anything, Melissa?
I don't think so. We will have the speaker circle up front. So if you have like specific questions or you want to learn a little bit more, and we can share a little bit more, especially on the clinical side. This is streaming, so we don't want to get too much into that, but we can answer some more questions about that, like in the small group later for anyone interested. All right, please stand as you are able for our final hymnal, Go Lift It Up, number 1057, and your teal hymnal. This one's short and sweet. Here and beyond these walls, as we extinguish this chalice flame, may the warmth of its light remain within us, guiding our steps and hearts. Let us carry forward the strength of this community, the courage to speak truth, and the hope that transformation is possible. In each breath we take, may we remember that the work of love, justice, and healing is ours to continue, both here and beyond these walls. Go in peace, with the light of this gathering to illuminate your way. Please stay seated for the postlude. Please join us in the back for refreshments and conversation, followed by second-hour discussion groups. Thank you for coming.